Today, I'm going to share with you how I stopped snapping at my son. I remember 12 years ago, back in the day, I wanted to be different. I wanted to be the parent who understands and listens and is able to communicate without yelling. I was trying hard to not yell, but I found myself in my attempt to not yell, snapping a lot. So I remember switching. I switch yelling for snapping. That's is that you? If that's you, you're not alone. And I'm going to share with you how I broke free from snapping at my son. And I haven't snapped a lot ever since. I don't remember the last time I snapped, to be honest. I don't remember. So I'm going to share with you how I did it, considering that I am a neurodivergent parent. Yes, I am diagnosed with autism and ADHD, and impulsivity could be part of how I roll sometimes. But I'm not drowning in the cycle of snapping and regretting and snapping more and regretting. I remember the last time that I snapped. I was with my son at the time. He was 9. Now he's an adult. Oh, man. And I'm raising my twins who are 8. But at the time, I was with my 9-year old at the time. We were getting ready for going to the dentist when I told him, okay, so we are going to go to the dentist. I'm going to wait for you in the car. And then he started like just resistant, not trying, like he didn't want to go. And then I was trying to be calm and trying to be composed. And then I remember snapping at him when the compose me didn't work to get him to go in the cars. Get in the car right now. And I remember one thing that he told me that I would never forget, and that was kind of like the tipping point for me. He looked at me and then he said, Mom, you bark like a dog all the time. You're all the time barking at me. You're barking orders at me all the time. It feels like a barking dog all the time. Was he trying to be disrespectful? Well, let's go beneath it. Let's go beneath it. What was he trying to tell me? He was trying to say, Mom, the way you communicate to me doesn't feel connected, doesn't feel respectful. You snap a lot. And that's how I interpreted it, how I received it. I thought that, yes, he is right. I walk around the house snapping orders all the time. And on my attempt to not yell, I transfer it to snapping all the time. So I I made myself a commitment. The commitment was to break free from it, to not let that continue and be a habit and be something that my child was going to remember of how I parented him. Now he doesn't live with me anymore. He's an adult and he has a way different memory because I changed it. Otherwise, he would still be remembering the barking mom, the barking like a dog mom. So I went on a journey of trying to understand why I was napping so much and what could help me. And what I found was the opposite of what I thought was the reason of why I was napping so much. I used to think it was him. It was because he doesn't listen to me. It's because I have to repeat myself and then I snap. It's because him. I was putting responsibility of how I communicate with him. I was so like, I was placing responsibility of my behavior on my child. I was living a life, I was parenting my child from lack of ownership and responsibility. So that was the first thing that I realized. is it really him? Is it really him, the one who makes me snap? Or I choose to communicate that way to him? So when I decided to take full ownership and responsibility over my own behavior, that's when I started finding answers. And I learned, and this is something that I learned through parenting coaching at the time. I wasn't a parenting coach at the time, but now I'm a parenting coach. But at the time in parenting coaching, I learned that the root of my snapping was my lack of emotional regulation skills, because I was all day in yellow anxious. Imagine you have an emotional thermometer. So this is your emotional thermometer, and then it goes from green, you're calm and relaxed and regulated, to yellow, you're a little uneasy, orange, you're anxious, you're hyper vigilant, you're all the time waiting for the struggle to happen, and red, you are reactive. So I was living my life on in orange. So it was really, really easy for me to go to red and snap. When I learned to regulate my nervous system, when I learned emotional intelligence skills to manage my emotions so I don't live in orange all the time to the verge of yelling and snapping, that's when I started breaking my cycle. And I didn't do it alone. I did it with the help of parenting coaching. So what happened? Once I started learning emotional regulation skills, I started being really aware of my body thermometer and understanding when I was uneasy. On, remember, green is you're regulated, and then it goes to yellow when I'm in yellow. So I I work on myself to not move to orange. Throughout the day, I have different things that set me off. Having autism and ADHD, I'm an auditory sensory avoider person. So when it gets too loud in the background, my sons, my twins, when they get too loud, then I move from green to yellow, possibly to orange very quickly. Emotional regulation skills is you gaining a full awareness of your emotional thermometer when you are moving up the thermometer temperature, so you can calm yourself down and work on managing your emotions early, early enough. Because if when you live your life at the edge of red, that's when you live your life in the cycle of snapping and yelling, because it takes just this a little bit to put you over the edge. So throughout the day, I started noticing things that set me back or set me up to be in yellow, orange dysregulation anxiety level, such as their noises. So I started regulating my body before I really felt really overwhelmed. And I use tools such as my noise canceling headphones. I use tools such as, this is a weighted stuffed animal. This is my son's, but I have my own. And then it has helped so, so much. That's been a game changer for me. The other one is been understanding subconscious patterns. And this is something that we do with our clients in HIC Parenting. If you don't know who I am, my name is Marcela Collier. I am the head coach of HIC Parenting Education Agency. And that's the exact thing we help parents with. Break away from reactive patterns so they can parent their children with peace. One thing is building those emotional regulation skills. And the second one, sorry, is understanding subconscious patterns. I remember I was talking to my mom 2 days ago. And then I was telling her, Mom, Santi was playing with his new slinky. Santi is my son, my 8-year-old son. And and as he was playing with his new slinky, he tangled it up and then we couldn't get it back in place. It broke. And he was crying for 2 hours, basically. Crying because his slinky broke the same day that he got it. And my mom said something that reminded me of the subconscious pattern and belief that children are a burden. She said this, so annoying when children cry so much. Hmm. So annoying when children cry so much. I grew up with that pattern. Parenting for her felt like a burden. So when we had behaviors, it did feel like a burden to her. So it makes sense why she said that. And the patterns that our parents had, they pass it to us. So on my early motherhood days with my older son, a lot of things that he did, such as the meltdowns and the tantrums, they did feel like a burden to me because I came with a subconscious narrative. Now that I broke free from it, thanks to parenting coaching, I was able to spot on when my mom said that. And I said, no, it's part of parenting. Parenting is one of my jobs. I'm a parenting coach in the morning and a parent in the afternoon because in the morning they're in school. And when I'm a parent in the afternoon, that's my job. It's my job to parent my children. And part of parenting my children is helping them with their big emotions and regulating their bodies and calming them down and consoling them. It's not a burden. It's part of parenting. And she kind of didn't understand it, but I understood it completely because that toxic narrative was what took me to snap and yell sometimes. If you want to break free from snapping and yelling, work on your emotional regulation skills and on unveiling unconscious patterns. And these are things that maybe you might not be able to do on your own. I have a 4-step roadmap that have helped 14,151 of the parents that come to us HIC Parenting that will help you as well. I explain this roadmap in my free class, the 4-step system to break free from reactivity so you can parent your children with peace. And you can access this free class on my website, hicparenting.com. It's in the description below or it's in a card up here somewhere, up here. And you can go through that class, learn the skills so you can parent your children with peace, without snapping, without yelling, with a lot more connection and understanding. If this video gave you a full understanding of why you're snapping and how to break away from snapping, would you share it with a friend? That's the sign that another parent needs to know this information. Just pause the video, click the share button, and send it to a friend and say, hey, I know this helped me so much understanding myself as a parent. I know it will help you as well. Send it right now to a friend. And if you have not subscribed to my channel, remember to subscribe. Remember, it only takes understanding of yourself and of your children's needs to raise secure children. I'll see you next time.